North Korea? One of the poorest countries in the world, but it has the fourth largest military in the world. They have up to 60 nuclear warheads, which would cost billions of dollars. The North Korean leader owns luxury cars and yachts, so where does North Korea get all its money from? Thank you to everyone who follows the Sai Money Monster channel. If anyone wants to support the information in this video, which might seem a bit risky, but please don't worry because I'm just sharing what I found from references. You can support us through this QR code. But if you're not able to support right now, that's totally fine. Just watching this video to the end makes me happy. This is Sai Money Monster. North Korea is said to be one of the poorest countries in the world. I looked at the GDP per capita, or the average income per person in North Korea. It ranks 178th in the world out of a total of 180 countries. So how much do they actually earn? North Koreans working there make about as much in a day as a high schooler's snack money, just a little over 100 baht. That's because the economy of North Korea has been sanctioned and cut off from the global economy, so they can't trade with anyone, can't make money from tourism, and their natural resources aren't anything special. But the North Korean leader has everything, whether it's a super top-of-the-line Mercedes-Benz or a yacht on his own private island. You could even call it a super yacht. And then there's the ultra-luxury Rolls-Royce, which the media has reported is probably worth more than 35 million baht. And if you think those things sound expensive, there are even pricier ones. They're so expensive that it's mind-boggling. Where does the money come from to buy nuclear warheads? According to CNBC, North Korea has about 60 nuclear warheads, and CNBC even estimated the price of a nuclear warhead. It is widely estimated by experts that a single nuclear warhead costs, on average, about $18 to $53 million to manufacture and maintain. That means if North Korea has a total of 60 nuclear warheads, the total expenditure would likely range from at least $1 to $3 billion. That really made me curious. How exactly is a nation like North Korea actually able to? Their economy isn't doing well, and they're sanctioned by pretty much every country, so they can't trade. Where do they get the money for all this? I dug deeper and found several sources with evidence I thought were really interesting and wanted to share. It turns out North Korea has ways of making money that aren't through normal trade or the usual economy. The only channel they have left is committing crimes. Let me clarify again that all the information I'm sharing comes with references. For this video, I'll also include all the source links in the caption. So if anyone wants to check or verify anything, you can find the links right below in the caption. As for the stories I'm telling, just listen and use your own judgment about how credible they are. And if anyone has a different version or more information, feel free to leave a comment. So to really understand this story in depth, I'm going to take you back to the 1950s, right after the Korean War. At that time, North Korea's economy was completely devastated, pretty much wiped out. But gradually, it started to recover, thanks to help from its ally, the Soviet Union. The Soviets provided financial aid, technology, and supplies for manufacturing equipment. Various industries slowly started to recover, but things hit a snag in the 1970s when the Soviet Union itself was severely weakened by attacks from the United States. The Soviets couldn't handle it anymore, so they were no longer able to help or send any support to North Korea. And after the Soviet Union weakened and eventually collapsed, North Korea's economy took a nosedive too. They were left with no money, no technology, and no industries they could rely on themselves. It got to the point where North Korea's currency became worthless. On top of that, North Korea also conducted nuclear weapons tests, which completely changed the country's fate. The turning point was when North Korea tested a nuclear weapon in 2006. At that time, the nearby areas detected an earthquake with a magnitude as high as 5. The whole world was shocked, and most importantly, the nuclear warhead test really violated United Nations regulations. As a result, North Korea was hit with severe sanctions and was completely cut off from global trade. This led to a terrible economy. They couldn't export anything, were sanctioned, and isolated from the rest of the world. As I mentioned, their currency had already lost all its value. The main reason for the currency's collapse was that North Korea no longer had any foreign reserves left in the country. So North Korea started to realize, hey, we need to do something. They desperately needed foreign currency to come in. Even though everything was falling apart, North Korea still wanted to survive in this world, right? Whether it was the government, the country itself, or the military, they all needed to keep going. So North Korea began to think of ways to bring in money from abroad. They established a very important organization to take on the role of bringing in foreign money, especially through an organization called Room 39. No, that's not it. No, not forks and spoons, mats and fish pillows or hammers. I'm telling you, that's not it. Room 39, or as some people call it, Bureau 39, is an organization that you could even call a secret organization because no one really knows which building or office it's actually based in within North Korea. But what is certain is that its job is to do whatever it takes to sweep in as much foreign money as possible into North Korea. So I looked into what exactly North Korea does since they can't legally trade with other countries, right? Like I mentioned before. The gap that remains is filled by committing crimes. At first, they started out with small-scale crimes. Not exactly minor, but not huge either. For example, there was a news article from a newspaper in 1976 reporting that Sweden expelled the North Korean embassy from the country that year because they caught North Korea smuggling and selling goods illegally. Cigarettes and counterfeit alcohol in the country, which were supposed to be duty-free, but they ended up selling them on the black market, so they got kicked out of the country. But like I said, that was a small thing. It started out small, no big deal. But in 1980, North Korea came back with a bigger idea: drug trafficking. I found several reports about the status of North Korea regarding this. North Korea was a major dealer, a big-time drug trafficking agent in the world. I chose this particular report from the U.S. Army War College. This report actually maps out North Korea's drug trafficking network. At the very top, you'll see the name Kim Jong-il, and then it branches out like a web, forming a whole network. There's Room 39, various government agencies, and even units from the North Korean military involved. The report also states that North Korea has large, openly operated opium fields and high-end labs for producing narcotics. What's important is that in other countries, they probably couldn't do this on such a large scale because their governments would prohibit it, right? But in North Korea, it's the opposite. The report says it's actually the government itself running the operation, so they don't have to be afraid of anything. They can go big. They're able to transport drugs using diplomatic or military vehicles all over the world, whether it's China, the US, Germany, Russia, and many other countries. The report also mentions that North Korea is able to export such large quantities of drugs abroad because they use diplomatic passports. That means they have high-ranking government officials travel, and these diplomatic passports are basically official passports for diplomats, so when they go through immigration in other countries, it's much easier for them. When these people travel, they don't get searched. That creates a loophole that allows North Korea to smuggle drugs across borders. Just to emphasize again, this information comes from a report by the U.S. Army War College. Another business that generates massive income for North Korea is trade, especially illegal arms trading in high conflict areas. North Korea's arms trade can bring in billions of dollars. The next business, which would be much harder to pull off if the country weren't so isolated, is counterfeiting currency. There are reports that North Korea produces counterfeit bills, especially US dollars. These counterfeit $1 bills are even known as super bills, super notes, or super dollars, because the fake bills produced by North Korea are called the most sophisticated fakes in the world. They are considered the most meticulously crafted counterfeit bills on the planet, made by highly skilled experts using state-of-the-art printing machines from Japan and premium paper sourced from Hong Kong, and high-end ink imported from France. When I looked at this information, I thought the same thing. Like, is it maybe too high-end to the point where people might catch on? Like, wow, it actually looks even better than the real thing or something like that. These counterfeit bills were exported by the North Korean government. The US Secret Service once estimated, back in 1989, that the number of North Korean counterfeit bills produced was as high as 45 million $1 bills. And these bills have already been distributed all over the world. Now, the next business is seriously cutting edge. Would you believe that North Korea has been one of the countries investing in hacker personnel since the 1990s? And their investment in hackers is no joke. They actually built a whole army of hackers. North Korean hackers aren't just there to, steal information or secretly snoop around for data or anything like that. They actually hack to steal money directly. North Korea's hacker army even has a name, Lazarus. And Lazarus's achievements are world-class, nothing ordinary at all. Ever since cryptocurrency emerged, which has only been a little over 10 years, right? The United Nations has reported that North Korea has been attacking cryptocurrency from financial institutions all over the world. There have been a total of 58 attacks since 2017, resulting in the theft of digital assets worth more than $3 billion. Or if you convert that to Thai baht, that's over 100 billion baht. This amount of money is actually more than 50% of North Korea's GDP. There are also reports stating that the UN estimates that 40% of this money has been used to develop nuclear warheads. And also for the North Korean military. Having the Lazarus hacker unit is an incredibly valuable asset for North Korea. It's not just for intelligence gathering or financial theft. They use it to launch direct attacks. If anyone says anything bad about North Korea, especially about its supreme leader, Lazarus can take action right away. There was actually a very high-profile incident like this in 2014 involving Sony Pictures. Lazarus once hacked Sony Pictures because Sony Pictures produced a movie called The Interview. In that movie, there was a line where someone asks, "Do you want to assassinate the leader of North Korea?" And in the end, the North Korean leader actually dies in the film. North Korea really didn't like that. They were extremely displeased and even tried to negotiate with Sony Pictures to stop the release. They wanted to stop the screening of The Interview, but of course, Sony Pictures didn't care. They refused and went ahead with the release anyway. After that, Sony Pictures got hacked and was almost completely shut down. Even President Barack Obama came out and said that the people behind the Sony Pictures hack were, in fact, North Korea. The whole internet went wild, engaging with the new stake. And if anyone talks about legendary bank heists, let me tell you, one of the biggest bank robberies in history was actually pulled off by a notorious hacker group called Lazarus. Back in 2016, Lazarus successfully infiltrated a central bank in Bangladesh with a plan to steal $1 billion. And even though, in the end, they were only able to walk away with actually get the money to North Korea, the real amount was $81 million. But even so, that incident is considered one of the biggest single bank heists in history in terms of the amount stolen. Now, you might ask, why do people say North Korea was behind the Bangladesh bank heist? Well, after the robbery happened, there was an investigation into the IP addresses to find out who was responsible. And after checking, they found that the specific IP address used by the sophisticated hackers who successfully broke into the Bangladesh bank was clearly and definitively linked back to the nation of North Korea by international investigators. All in all, according to a report from the Congressional Research Service, the money North Korea makes from various criminal activities amounts to as much as 25 to 50% of North Korea's GDP. So North Korea has no problem at all if it wants to spend about 16% on the military or use around $2 to $3 billion. To buy nuclear warheads to show off their military might, conduct military drills, and still have enough money left over for the country's leader to live a life of luxury and comfort. In the end, I just hope this clip doesn't get taken down. I'm just sharing information based on the references I've found. That's all there is to it.